Hey everybody, and welcome back to Educate Lee's chemistry course. Today's video, we will be looking into the topic of chemical nomenclature, a fancy way of saying naming compounds. In chemistry, each and every compound has a name. Ideally, a compound name should indicate the composition that makes up that particular compound, and also its properties. It can be difficult to determine the naming of a particular compound if we don't use a systematic approach. There are different steps based on if the compound is ionic or molecular. First naming convention we're going to cover is ionic compounds. When naming an ionic compound, the cation has the same name of its element. The anion is named by taking the name of its element, removing the ending, and adding "ide." Let's take a look at an example of a reaction between sodium and fluorine to illustrate the concept. F with a -1 charge is called fluoride. For the elemental name fluorine, the "ene" was removed and replaced with "ide." Therefore, NaF is known as sodium fluoride. Next we will be covering molecular compounds. The naming convention for molecular compounds can get a little complicated, but if you follow the step-by-step guide below, The naming convention for molecular compounds can get a little complicated, but if you follow the step-by-step guide that I'm about to show you, it will be straightforward to determine the name of a particular molecule. The naming convention for molecular compounds can get complicated, but if you follow the step-by-step guide below, it will be straightforward. The naming convention for molecular compounds can get a little complicated, but if you follow the step-by-step guide I'm about to show you, it will be straightforward to determine the name of a particular compound. Step 1 for naming molecular compounds involves removing the ending of the second element and adding "ide", similar to naming anions in ionic compounds. Second, when naming molecular compounds, prefixes are used to dictate the number of a given element present in the compound. These are the prefixes that you will need to know in order to name molecular compounds. If there's only one atom in the first of the elements, drop the prefix. For example, CO is carbon monoxide, not monocarbon monoxide. Let's look at some examples of naming molecular compounds. Try to name SO2. Pause the video if you need to. As you can see, there are 2 oxygen atoms and 1 sulfur atom. Also know that SO2 is a molecular compound. Therefore, the name will be sulfur dioxide. Remember not to add a mono in front of sulfur. Let's try CaCl2. Pause the video if you need to. Hopefully that was enough time. As you can see, there is only 1 Ca atom and 2 Cl atoms. Also note that this is an ionic compound. Therefore, this is calcium chloride. There is no di in front of chloride. That brings us to the end of the video. Don't forget to do extra practice, and we'll see you in the next one.